Right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Just to quickly address the elephant in the room, I'm in a different room. Yes, I know, I get it, I understand, it's weird, it's shocking. Okay, I'm in a different room. Welcome to the Hcast, episode 27. The title topic will be saved to the last minute or last hour anyway, because we need to wait for Nick to get here. So I do apologize if you joined immediately to talk about Mandalorian season 3 finale, but we will get to it, I promise, I can assure you, and it will be absolutely worth the wait. We also need to talk about Jonathan Majors, the situation with him, the Little Mermaid director, explaining why he just had to hire a fat chick. And then also we'll be talking about Harry Potter and the diverse cast that is rumored. So, lots to cover. Yes, I'm in a different room.
So it's Harry Potter in the cast of diversity.
Well, apparently, yeah. I mean, we'll dive into it. It's kind of one of those things that, like, I always just think, well, of course. You know, like, it's not a surprise when you hear these things anymore. But we'll dive into it. Anyway, ladies and gents, so welcome to the Hcast episode 27. You'll find links to everyone's channels down below in the description box. We've got Culture Casino from Culture Casino. We've got Andre from Midnight's Edge. We've got Tom Connors from Midnight's Edge After Dark. And we will have Nick from Echo Base Network. How are we all doing, guys? You all right?
Yeah, wonderful. Better than than a lot of people's day started. Let me just put it that way.
You're a mixed race, Harry.
Fucking hell, come on.
What is wrong with that? It's fine. It's fine.
Well, it's better than what I was gonna say. It's too early in the show for that.
All right.
Definitely.
Here, Harry, have a Bud Light.
Oh, wow.
How are you doing, Andre? You all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I don't have any Bud Lights, so I'm doing very well.
Well, we're from Europe. We don't drink that piss water.
Exactly. We do not have to drink Mulvaney's piss, so we're good.
We drink actual beer.
Exactly.
Like, we don't drink that absolute crap. Oh, Jesus. It's amazing, isn't it, how, like, they released that in, like, Bud Light is a very American drink, and then, you know, so it has quite a relative. It's not like a worldwide brand, realistically, and then they've just disenfranchised their own target market. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd.
But this is actually absurd. Like one of the things that their new marketing VP said that it was her mandate to do. That it was a dying brand, even if it apparently is the top-selling beer in America. It's still dying. And they need to get like a new, younger audience. They have to evolve the brand. And what's more evolution, if not representation and diversity? So that way they can also just offload all of those like primitive, dying old customers right away. So yeah, great success, I guess.
Well, that whole statement, that video didn't make any sense anyway, because you're right. You know, you said about a dying brand and needing to change it up and stuff. But they're like, they freely admit that their audience is like frat boy look, you know. It's like, well, so you need a younger, you need younger.
Yeah, that's a problem.
How much younger can you get them frat boys? Pretty much. Yeah,
exactly.
This apparently is the #1 beer in America.
It is.
How is it dying?
It wasn't.
It wasn't until they effed it up. Yeah,
exactly.
It was an outright lie because their sales had ticked up, right? And Budweiser. I mean, to be fair, Budweiser makes money in volume. It's not because their sales are good, but if they lose 1%-3%, that's their margin. They're literally losing their margin if they lose 3% of sales. Yeah. If you lose 3% of sales, that's your entire margin. That's crazy, and they manage.
I'm not sure. Is it your whole margin?
Yes, but the reason it's important is because if you lose that much, or let's say you lose 10% in sales, you're losing perhaps 10 months or 10 weeks or whatever else. I mean,
Budweiser does a lot more advertising than a lot of the other brands too. That's the thing. They sponsor a lot of stuff, like everything from tractor pulls to concerts, right? Like Bud Light's all over everything, everywhere, all the time.
And all of them are going to want to withdraw from that because they no longer want to be associated with what I labeled it Mulvaney's piss. Because
man,
what it tastes like. So
what a bizarre situation.
Well, and the whole weird thing to me that bothers me is this whole trying to cater to a younger audience. It's scary because they're flat out basically saying, yeah, we're trying to get the young kids on board. Because this is the other thing that struck me is Mountain Dew is releasing an alcoholic beverage now. It's like, what the hell are they doing releasing an alcoholic beverage unless you're trying to obviously, bring in a younger teenage crowd to drinking?
It's a problem.
Right? That's a problem for me. Yes, I agree.
That's odd. We don't get Mountain Dew in the UK. Don't see it over here.
Well, Mountain Dew is probably one of the, I'd say it's probably one of the biggest sodas here besides Coke and Pepsi. So, like, yeah,
it's loaded with caffeine.
I'm all about caffeine at the moment.
Well, and what makes Mountain Dew big here and Budweiser big here too, besides the sponsorships that we talked about, is the advertising campaigns. Budweiser has had some of the most memorable advertising campaigns for the last 20, 25 years.
Yeah,
right. Everything from "What's up" to Budweiser, and then you have the spinoff with the lizards and all that kind of stuff, and so on and so forth. Not to mention the Clydesdales, which have always just been a mainstay, right? Like, so for them to pull something stupid like this is just like but it isn't just Budweiser; it's everybody across the board. It's like I almost got into advertising out of school, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I would have been like basically boomered out of this shit at this point, because I don't know where they're getting this crap from. This is not advertising. This is in no way, shape, or form. Like, they're breaking the number one rule, right? You never want to make your audience feel like they're a problem or they're doing something wrong or they shouldn't like something that you're looking at, right? Like, it's not a good rule. You want to make them want your product. You want to make them want to either be or want your spokesman for said product.
Well, the thing is that it's the biggest beer in America. People wanted their product. They didn't have a problem with people wanting their product.
Like Gillette. Yeah, exactly.
But they've orchestrated their own issue here. Like, it's like, what are you doing? You absolute numbnuts. Yeah. So bizarre. So bizarre.
They created a solution for a problem that didn't exist. Exactly.
Yeah, like, just total nonsense. I'm sure people rocking in here are very confused about what we're doing. We're just a random tangent there. To apologize, ladies and gents, but it's still interesting to. No. It still is interesting to talk about. Yeah. These are one of those things that it's just like, okay, wow, like, yeah. I mean, I don't tend to cover stuff like. I mean, I'm happy to cover it here, but I wouldn't cover it in a.
Well, it's kind of upstream from entertainment, right? Like, I mean,
well,
it's all kind of tied together.
It's sort of parallel, isn't it? It runs parallel because it's the industry as a whole and kind of where the industry is going. I mean, you've now got a Doctor Who villain that's a drag queen. I don't know if anyone's seen that, right? So, it's all everything runs adjacent and parallel to one another. So yeah, like where the industry at large in terms of corporate America or just corporations in general, where they start to dip and dive, most things will sort of follow suit as well, or they are already following suit. So it's all very, very, very similar, very, very similar. So, ladies and gents, just again, just to reiterate, I'm sure you're all coming in here a little bit confused. One, with what we're talking about, we were just covering the Dylan Mulvaney Budweiser situation, just briefly.
A joke turned into a conversation, yeah.
Yeah, but that's all fine. That's what you come here for. This is the H-Cast. It's a good, fun podcast. And also, you're probably a bit confused about where I am. I'm in a different room. Just need to keep addressing it because people will be like, "Where are you? Why are you here?" Basically, my PC blew up. I think it's just a power supply. Hopefully, it is, because that's the cheapest thing to replace. I'll get a new one tomorrow, but currently, like, I'm kind of a bit up shit's creek at the moment. I'm just I'm working on a laptop in my kitchen, so it's all a bit crap. So yeah, apologies. But let's talk about one of our headliner topics anyway, which is, of course, the Jonathan Majors situation. Oh, actually, just real quick before I dive into this, guys, if you want to support the podcast, support the channel, support what we do here, super chats are a really good way to do that. And we actually have our first one we've got a super sticker from Al Humphreys, member of the channel. Thank you so much, my dude. Really do appreciate that. But yeah, if you want to support the show, you want to chime into the conversation, like I'm sure a lot of you guys have, anecdotal stuff you want to talk about with respect to the Budweiser stuff, drop in a super chat. We'll cover them. It could be anything. It literally can be anything. So super chats are a good way to do that. Please do check out everyone's channels linked in the description box. And please do check out the second channel linked in the description box, which is Missed Reviews Live Archives. Subscribe over there. All the best bits of the podcast go there. Anyway, let's get to our first topic, which is we'll separate this into two separate things because I think they're interesting. They kind of bleed into one another, but we'll separate them. And we'll talk about Jonathan Majors and the fact that Variety, and this is why I'm separating them, the fact that Variety have picked up on an exclusive that there are more alleged victims. Again, I have to keep using these kind of terms. Obviously, we don't know yet. He may be innocent. Alleged victims of domestic abuse coming forward, and they're cooperating with the district attorney's office. It's interesting because if Variety has good sources and this is actually legitimate, this corroborates what instantly came out the moment Jonathan Majors was arrested, which was all over Twitter. Multiple people, 2 people, came forward and said he's a sociopath, an abuser, and we won't out the people that he's abused, but he has. Everyone in the industry knows it. He's an abuser. If this is true, then it corroborates that, and it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all because I guess it builds a character reference of who this chap is for the DA to move forward with pressing charges. But the Variety article says sources familiar with the matter tell Variety that multiple alleged victims of Majors have come forward following his March arrest and are cooperating with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. The prospect of more women waiting in the wings would mark a dramatic turn in the case and comes on the heels of Majors' publicists and management firm cutting ties with the embattled actor earlier this week. The district attorney did decline to comment. There is another interesting element here, and we'll cover this moving forward anyway, but it's the comment from his attorney, Priya Chowdhury, that says, Jonathan Majors is innocent and has not abused anyone. We have provided irrefutable evidence, we'll get to that, to the district attorney that the charges are false. We're confident that he will be fully exonerated. But then further to that, the thing which is interesting here is that the individual that is Jonathan Majors' crisis publicist is fucking Priya Chowdhury, his attorney's husband, right? Andrew Burke. Completely different name, but that is the husband of Priya Chowdhury. So not good. This is the individual that I feel like that's kind of like a conflict of interest of some description there. I don't think it's very good. It doesn't look good. But this is the individual that keeps providing said evidence to people.
I would say it's more of a common interest, but I think the bigger issue here is where are we seeing this compared to the other news, which we'll get to here soon?
Yeah,
this is in Variety. This is a very reputable paper. And not only that, it's an industry paper.
Well, so that's the thing, is it? So Andrew Burke, the crisis publicist for Jonathan Majors, hasn't been contacting Variety. Hasn't been contacting anyone with that is deemed to be legitimate, within the industry of journalism as a whole, right? I think that's pretty blanket statement, but rings pretty true. Andrew Burke, crisis publicist for Jonathan Majors, has been heading over to TMZ the whole time.
Yeah,
which we will get to, but it doesn't look good anyway. Just like fucking. Your team is terrible at this point in time. Awful. And then interestingly, Variety did have a statement from someone that is working with Jonathan Majors on an upcoming project that is kept anonymous. And it is exactly what we've all said. So as per the text messages, this individual who was due to be working with Majors on an upcoming project said it read like a bad Lifetime movie. They basically look like the text messages of a textbook abused woman, which is what everyone else said, aside from a lot of random. There was a bunch of YouTubers that were like, he's slam dunk, they've got him. It's like, no, mate, this looks real bad. So, thoughts, multiple abuse victims coming forward. What do we think? Andre, you always have some good snippets.
Multiple is a number which only means more than 2. You have like 1, 2, multiple. Is it 3? Is it 15? Is it 20? That we do not know. Why did they not come forward sooner? Well, we know that these are the ones already working with the district attorney. That tells me that probably there has been an investigation process behind the scenes. The police have checked around. They have found, okay, these are then the people that haven't come forth, but that we now hear rumors are the ones that he has done nasty stuff to before. And then they have contacted them, explained, okay, here is something where you need to testify. And then they are like, okay, fine, I did not want this to define me and my career, but fine, in this situation, I shall do it. I think that is what has happened, because if it was some cloud chaser or something like that, they would have come in a big full spread and said, he did this to me. He was so horrible. Oh, by the way, check my webpage, right? Check my OnlyFans. That didn't happen. This is someone that has not come out in public and have said anything. So I believe that the DA had to locate them, talk with them. So I think there's every reason to suspect that these more than 3 have a very compelling case. Because otherwise, we wouldn't be hearing about them this way. They would be like some kind of centerfold spread, showing their sad faces and everything, using it as an opportunity to gain more fame. That's not happening here. So I think that these they seem somewhat credible, the accusations, just for that reason alone. As for his attorneys, you are right. That is a very clear conflict of interest, because you can like say, okay, fine, here you have like 2 different attorneys covering 2 different things, and maybe the husband and wife don't talk to each other at all about legal matters. But still,
they absolutely do. Let me just quickly interject. So it's not 2 attorneys. It's not 2 attorneys. It's his attorney and his crisis publicist. And the attorney is feeding the crisis publicist all the evidence. So
this is not a good look. And also, I don't think that he has a very good team left working with him.
They are atrocious.
The good people, they are the ones that already dropped him. So the ones that are left, I think, are like people he found on his own, people he knew or something like that. And I think they are even worse than you give them credit for. No, here's why. All this like exonerating evidence, it appeared not in Variety, not in Deadline Hollywood, not even in Vanity Fair, but in TMC.
Yeah, we'll get to that, and also what the evidence actually is.
But, we'll get to the evidence, but you know why I think it's in TMC as opposed to any of the others?
Well, because the others would vet it properly.
TMC pays more.
Well, also they vet it.
Pay more. I think that this is pure speculation. I do not know this. I could be way off, but just looking at the evidence, this is obviously someone that has the evidence. I think that this is like this crisis manager that was like, okay, we need to get the word out here, and I'm gonna get as much money for myself as I can in the process, because this guy, he ain't gonna have money to pay me for long. So I'm gonna put this to TMC, and then it can spread to all of the other trades from there, and I'll be left with a bigger paycheck for it.
I think TMZ does pay for exclusives.
They do.
And you're right. What we have here is multiple accusers, or at least people that will corroborate, is what we're seeing here. So maybe these are people that stepped forward before, but there wasn't enough evidence to go after Majors previously, or they're people who, like you said, popped up in the course of the investigation. But what we don't have is multiple supporters. Right. I think that's the bigger thing we have here, is a bigger problem, is you don't have a bunch of people like with Johnny Depp coming out of the woodwork going, this is bullshit. I dated him for 3 years. He never laid a hand on me. Or a friend from high school saying, oh, this is completely out of character. Whoever said this stuff is making this crap up. You don't have not one single person. Even his girlfriend who's involved in this can't even legitimately come out and say it's all bullshit, because we've seen her texts.
Tom, according to TMC, his girlfriend is now his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, so I'm surprised that they're not going back after him again after this fact. But yeah, before we jump too far ahead in the TMZ article, that's the other problem is I agree with Andre that that's probably where the money's at. And not only that, the type of things that they're positing in that TMZ article about how this would have to be a huge conspiracy with the DA and the police and all this bullshit. Yeah. You know what that's starting to sound like? Angelina Jolie all over again.
Yeah.
And Amber Heard all over again. So
well, again,
but it's on the wrong end here. That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, again, let's not jump too far ahead.
Sorry with that, but like I said, he's got no support coming out of this. We don't know what these people are going to corroborate or say about his past, but it's obviously not going to be good. And I think this is overshadowing whatever TMZ has. And like you said, you can get to that. So we'll let Culture comment on this part of it before we jump to that. So yeah, that's all I really have to add to what Andre already said. Yeah.
But Tom, what you reacted to is absolutely correct. I mean, the fact that there isn't an uprising of support behind him is telling. Just like, as Andre pointed out, having his management of every type abandon him is telling. Having projects canceled, having a designer fade away into the background, like we talked about on Tuesday. I guess it was Valentino, right?
It was Valentino.
Having all of these things happen is telling. Other people have more information than we do, and it's it was one of the points I made in the video that I made about the subject. It's like Disney knows there are other shoes and they're going to drop. So and we'll speak about that in a minute. I imagine his future, but for now, having this team operate the way that they are, as Nate described, I mean, all of this is telling. It's all building up. The culmination of all of these things is very specific. This guy is having his career removed from him.
At
every flag, right? At every checkpoint. That's happening every time. And I don't see it. I do not see a positive outcome for him, even if he goes to court and even if he is, secured, an acquittal, right? I don't think there's zero upside for him. None. Yeah. It's
I think the problem is here, if he is innocent, his lawyer and publicists are not doing him any favors.
No.
But so going back to what you were saying anyway, with respect to, the uprising of support, the non-existent uprising of support, it is really telling. And it's one of those things that whenever you discuss this, everyone always goes, she's going to be an Amber Heard. And you go, okay, but, in that scenario, there was a huge uprising of support, unanimous uprising of support for Johnny Depp. Everyone he'd ever been with, everyone he had ever been with supported him. Yeah. There was no one that came out and supported, aside from Amber Heard's friends, direct individuals.
Kate Moss even traveled to the States to support him.
The closest I remember is there was somebody who was like talking about, like he was late to the set one day, but it had something to do, I think, with him visiting a hospital or some shit like that. So it didn't even help her case. Like there was only one other person who said something like, he was having some issues getting to set on time, and all this was brought up in the court case. But I was surprised his lawyers didn't pinpoint going like, okay, so when was the time period of this? Oh, during all the drama with her? Maybe that's the reason. That's the thing is any other time. What was that? Sorry, Nate.
Well, I was just going to say, but appearing late in court, appearing late to set, it got nothing to do with, being an abuser, which was the claims that
No. They were just corroborating that, he had been drinking heavily, showing up late to set and being depressed and withdrawn. But then again, if you corroborate the time of when this is happening, it's during the worst of times with Amber, right? Yeah. So again, I'm not trying to go back to that case. But again, you have none of that here, like you're saying, Nate. Like none of the support that Johnny had.
Literally nothing at all.
And again, I want to believe he's innocent until proven guilty, but it's not looking good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's important to reiterate through all of this because we've got a further article to take a look at because there was a development from the Variety article, which we'll cover in a minute. But throughout all of this, it's important to maintain that no one here is saying he's guilty because we just don't know.
No.
It's a case of here's the evidence that's being presented to us from both sides, which looks more legitimate. Well, the evidence against him, unfortunately, but still, it will go to court because it is going to court May 8th, and we will find out then. Yeah. But we do have, we actually had a new member and a super chat dropped in. So Darren Hughes became a member. So thank you so much. Support level 2. If you want to support the show, support the channel, super chats, super stickers, and also membership is all there. So thank you so much for that. We also had a super chat from Andrei Romanyuk, I think. I'm probably butchering that, so I do apologize. For $20, so thank you so much. It says, have you heard about the Egyptian lawyer that filed a case with the public prosecutor to close Netflix in Egypt? It's because of their agenda-driven, inaccurate depiction of Cleopatra in their new show. The irony is amusing. I had no idea that was a thing. Is that a legitimate thing? That's hilarious. Well, Egypt. So, with my epic YouTube subscriptions that I have, I don't watch anyone, generally speaking, that does this kind of stuff. I like to watch a lot of food or car stuff. And so I'm a subscriber of the best ever food review show. Brilliant. And interestingly, he's traveled all over the world, this guy, Sonny, and he traveled to Egypt. There's a reason why I'm saying this. And he traveled to Egypt, and literally, of all the places he's been to, it was the worst experience he's ever had, because they publicize themselves as this massive tourist hotspot. And they are a huge tourist hotspot. People go there, travel all over from all over the world to go there. And they just treated like criminals just because they had some camera equipment. He signed up for proper filming licenses, everything. And he had all of his stuff taken from him, taken up until the last minute, his phone confiscated, just ridiculous stuff. So you can't, it would appear that it's even difficult just to film in public in Egypt. So it's funny, but then they're doing this and going, oh, well, just a side note, anecdotal thing from stuff there. But yeah, this is, so what's the depiction of Cleopatra that's bad?
Well, I can tell you, this is something.
Are they having a black?
Yes, of course.
Of course,
Cleopatra is black, and we produce this is something that sells itself as a documentary, and it's produced by what's her name? The so-called wife of Will Smith, Jada Pinkett.
Yes.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's her production company.
He's the one doing some woke agenda-driven stuff here, trying to rewrite history, where you have experienced scholars saying stuff like, I don't care what the Egyptians said. My grandma said that Cleopatra was black. It's kind of like that level.
She was Greek Macedonian.
Yes, she was. That's exactly right. But so the premise here is we really want Cleopatra to be black to rewrite history, so we're gonna grab at straws, and we're gonna have scholars say, "Well, I imagine in my fantasy this and that." And that's the basis for their documentary based on the trailer. And here you then have someone, public prosecutor, a lawyer that is then suing Netflix Egypt for basically willful. I don't know what the basis is, but willful propaganda, I guess, or rewriting of history, because there's a lot of things we do not know about ancient Egypt. I mean, when you look at the various aspects of science out there are many things where there's stuff that we have been told that's just bullshit. You have that in physics. For instance, have you heard about black matter or dark matter? Ain't no such thing. Doesn't exist. Never did. Same thing with dark energy. Doesn't exist. Stuff that we don't quite understand about gravity. And it's as simple as that.
Theoretical physics, isn't it, basically?
Yeah, exactly. Same thing with multiverse. Ain't no multiverse. That's just mathematics gone wrong. And in Egyptology, there's a shit ton of stuff we don't know. And there's a shit ton of stuff we have been told that's just plain wrong. But what isn't is that Cleopatra was Greek Macedonian.
Now.
Not only that, she looks like a self-insert of Jada Pinkett Smith, and it looks like a bad quality docu. Should call it docudrama, because it's not a documentary. I don't like using that term on this.
Yeah.
because it is complete fugazi.
It's completely made up.
The thing is, so yeah,
this just reminds me of the equivalent of that stoner guy, who's black and like he's just, like obsessed with his blackness, and he's like, did you know that Jesus was black? And all that kind of shit, and like it's like,
sure. This is it's just nonsense of we was Kangs and shit.
It's just first level bullshit. Crap. Exactly. Yeah. It's just seriously, you can't even defend this shit.
It's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. And I guess their argument is, well, Egypt's in Africa or some crap like that. I'm guessing.
This is true, but
no, I know, but I mean that's probably their argument. You could fuck it.
Well, obviously, but you know what? You also have like some, I forget like his name, but you have like some like YouTube not vicars, but like some black preachers out there who are like the first to admit that Egypt may physically be located in Africa, but Egypt is not Africa in any way that matters.
No, it's not. It's not at all. Goodness.
Well, and here's the thing
Egypt is the extension of the Fertile Crescent from like that point of view.
Well, let's hope. Let's hope this lawyer wins.
Yeah,
I kind of hope so. Although Andre's right, we were talking a little bit about it earlier. It probably won't go anywhere, but it is. I wish they would.
The fact they've even tried is good, right? Like it's that pushback that we always talk about that needs.
I think it should, because you shouldn't be able to call something like this a documentary. That's the problem I have with it, right? I don't care if you're making a film like The Woman King, like it's a movie. So is Braveheart. We know that's not accurate, right? This is supposed to be presented as a documentary. That's bullshit.
This is Ancient Aliens level, only worse.
Well, and you know what? It's funny because with Mr. H stepping away just now, he showed us Brie would be great as Cleopatra, right?
Why? She's not Greek Macedonian. It doesn't matter anymore, does it? Just have anyone.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's my point. It's like
great.
Now, look, if you're going to call it a documentary, call it a documentary. If you're trying to depict a specific period of history, be accurate. And again, there's a lot of ways to measure accuracy on a lot of these things. And again, I mean, we have humanity's always been a tribal civilization up until very recently, in the grand scheme of things. And we've stuck within our tribes primarily, and we don't do that anymore. But as large masses of people, that's still the case. People didn't move terribly far away from where they were. So, I mean, you talk to an anthropologist, talk to somebody who knows better.
Well, like I said, we were getting advanced enough, at least we used to be in schools, where we learned enough stuff to know, like, Liz Taylor, chances are Cleopatra didn't look nothing like her.
No.
But you know what? Liz Taylor captured the essence of what Cleopatra was. Then that's the thing.
You know what it is, right? And what this all boils down to, why they keep doing this. And I've said this before, is because the younger generations, and it's not even that younger generation, but a little bit younger generation, and I say this all the time, and people they scoff at it as if I'm talking nonsense, but it's the utter truth. They are absolutely retarded so much that they don't know anything about history, and they learn their history from documentaries such as this.
Yep.
So these people like Jada Pinkett Smith is absolutely promoting a form of propaganda, because they know that, because, well, lo and behold, they've got a bunch of children that they know are probably dumb, thick as shit. So they know that they can pollute their minds with this nonsense. And these kids will watch this and go, Cleopatra was black then. And that's it. It's a form of controlling information, history. That is genuinely what it is. It always boils down. It's the same with Anne Boleyn. They made her black. It's like, fucking, what are you doing? Like, you have to know where you came from to understand how far we've come. You can't sit there and go, oh, we're oppressed. Black people are oppressed. Oh, they've been oppressed for years. And then retroactively put yourself in everything throughout history and then still pretend you're oppressed. No. Have the documentaries that show those periods of time where you were oppressed,
right?
So people can learn and grow and understand. right? Otherwise, what are you bitching about? You're fucking in everything now. Like we did.
To be fair, though, it's not black people putting themselves into
No,
everything.
I know.
It's evil white
Systems in
female
place.
producers putting them in everything for pure tokenism.
And empowering people like Jada Pinkett Smith who don't deserve it. Let's be real.
Yeah. Anyway, a bit of a tangent there. We've got some other super chats here. So we've got one from...
He got his 20s worth.
Yeah, definitely. Stephen Ellis for £2 says, hi from Dundee. I cancelled Disney Plus. Reason I gave, DEI or die.
There you go.
Oh, good. There's actually been a whole bunch of people that have commented on my Mandalorian season finale review saying, yeah, I cancelled it the moment I watched this. This was shit. I cancelled it. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, they'll never report it, but anecdotally from comments, it seems that they've lost a bunch. So,
well, even the press hasn't been able to save their butts, right? Like they've even had to come out and say that this is not looking good for them. And the only thing Andre and I always say is like we'll never tell you whether you should sign up for something or cancel anything or boycott anything for that matter. But what we will say is if you do cancel something, make sure they know why. Because if you don't tell them why, you'll just become another statistic in the churn. Yeah, but if you tell them why, then you're a statistic in the right place.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's not that hard to drop a note or to tell them, when you call in, this
take
is
that survey at the end. That's usually the place where they'll put it. Yeah.
So we've got another super chat from KN Kareen for $1.99. Says she's not black, she is mixed racist, the actress.
What? Yeah, she's a mixed race.
I think she means mixed race.
Right. She's a mixed racist.
Well,
okay.
It's just, let's be real. Cleopatra would probably look more like somebody like Gal Gadot.
Yes, Gal Gadot was excellent casting because Gal Gadot, she of course she's not Macedonian. She's not Macedonian Greek,
but she has that look of her. Yeah,
that's exactly what I mean. Like that her particular Jewish origin probably means that she looks like, if you squint, you probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference between what she looks like and what the Macedonian at the time would look like.
Yeah. Well, and what we saw from those images there that I showed, from what we've heard historically, she wasn't necessarily the best looking woman in the world, but what she had was like striking eyes, supposedly. And that's part of the reason why they got Elizabeth Taylor to play her in that one movie, was because of the eyes, right? Like that was the thing. And not only that, she knew how to politically play men. Like that was the other thing. She was very good at politics.
Right up until she met Augustus, who was the greatest emperor in all of Rome. She wasn't able to manipulate him. She was able to manipulate Mark Antony. She was able to manipulate Caesar, not Augustus. That didn't work. Then she was done.
But anyway, that's enough of the history lesson.
We have a follow-up from KN here as well. It says, I agree that Cleo is Macedonian, by the way, but actress is mixed race. Let's be accurate, not like Netflix. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Fair enough.
Fergal Kelly for €5 says, pardon my ignorance, but did I see Brie in the Fast X trailer?
Yes, she's in it.
She is in that film. And I think we're all caught up now, actually.
Isn't she playing the villain in the new one here?
No, she's working.
Oh, she's one of the good guys. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. From what I can see from the trailer and stuff, I don't care about the Fast.
I've never seen any of them, to be honest with you. Full disclosure.
Neither have I. I've never seen a single one of them.
Could not give a shit. So from what I know, she's not the villain. She's working with them, helping them. Right. So let's shuffle on to our next topic again, ladies and gents. We got like 440 odd people here. Hit that thumbs up button. Please do give the video a like. We haven't spoken about Mandalorian Season 3 yet. We will get to it. I'm waiting for Nick from Echo Base Network to get in here, and then we'll be covering that. So if you're looking for that, we'll be getting to it, I promise. If you want to join in the conversation, super chats, super stickers, good way to support the channel. But super chats are a good way to chime in on the conversation as well. So in terms of next topic, right, we covered the Jonathan Majors Variety article where they had the exclusive and there was more people coming forward as alleged victims. Now, the polarization between Variety and the source that the attorney and Major's crisis publicists choose to leak things to is stark and shocking, because they keep going to TMZ and they think that this is irrefutable evidence that proves he's innocent. This doesn't prove or disprove anything. And let's dive into this, right? Jonathan
here
Major's
we go again.
video.
Yeah.
Witness prove I didn't strike ex-girlfriend. She went clubbing after the incident. So they've also revealed a little bit more about the story. So let's take a look. Jonathan Majors says the man who was driving him and his now ex-girlfriend the night of their alleged domestic incident will testify the actor did not strike her, and he claims there's video proof she was not injured when she went out to a club after the altercation. Jonathan's attorney, Priya Chowdhury, filed documentation on Wednesday in Manhattan, informing the court that the driver witnessed what went down between Jonathan and the woman back in March. According to the documentation obtained by TMZ, the driver saw the woman assault Majors around 1 a.m. on March 25th while she was attempting to steal his phone. Further, the Creed 3-star says that the driver will testify he never struck the alleged victim in any way at any time or even raised his voice. Majors and his attorney also said the driver saw her hitting, scratching, and attacking Jonathan, and that Jonathan asked the driver to stop the car so he could escape her attack, which he did. So the woman allegedly told police she suffered a broken finger and a laceration behind her ear during the altercation. However, in the document, Chowdhury says they have proof she's a complete liar, or that's a complete liar. And so we have this. This is the evidence. This is the video evidence, right? She's out partying, no timestamp.
That's not a video. That's an image.
Yeah, well, it's a screen grab from a video.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, they didn't release the video.
Yeah, so Priya Chowdhury says that they have hours of security video showing the woman went clubbing and got drunk after Majors left her in the car. She also texted him accusing him of infidelity and threatening suicide. So apparently, as what happens while she was at the nightclub, Majors' court filing includes screenshots of security video showing the woman freely using a right hand, which she claimed Majors injured. I will round this up in a minute, but I need to give you the full story. In the video, they say that she casually pushes her hair behind her right ear, reaches into her bag several times, sorts through credit cards, hands his phone, holds a menu and easily holds a glass of champagne. Apparently she was partying hard, throwing back shots with champagne, and it's all fine, etc. So apparently, when a night out the club was over, they claim she showed up at Major's home at 3:23 a.m., entered his apartment and called him 32 times and sent several angry, jealous text messages. Majors was not home when she got there. Chowdhury says none of the text messages accuse Jonathan of injuring her, nor does she mention any discomfort from alleged injuries. They say Majors got home at 11:13 a.m. the next day, or that day, but whatever, and found her unconscious and half naked on the floor of his walk-in closet. He also discovered she allegedly threw up in his bed and told him she'd taken a few sleeping tablets. Majors then called 911 and claimed when paramedics arrived, the woman repeatedly told them, "I don't know," when asked what happened. In the document, Chowdhury claims body cam footage shows police interviewing the woman and clearly coaching her to say that Mr. Majors grabbed her by the throat. Chowdhury claims the alleged victim never made that claim to anyone prior to the officer's direction. So just to cover this, right? My thoughts before we dive into everyone else's. This does not prove or disprove anything. This is not a video. There is no timestamps on the video. There is nothing to put this video anywhere in terms of any logical linear sense of a day or an evening. Few things to note. The text messages that you did show didn't look very good. They literally, those messages that you showed were awful. What about the ones that you say where she sent multiple nasty ones? Where's the photo of him being injured by her attacking him, scratching, throwing hands, etc., which you state actually happened? Where's that? Your attorney, right? You were on it the very next day. We've seen it because it was all broken, TMZ and everywhere else, Deadline. Where are the photos that he was injured? Where were they? Where is any of this actual evidence? Hitting and scratching and attacking. Scratching, he would have some marks, right? Otherwise, it's an inaccurate use of the word. You're using it incorrectly. If he was scratched, he would have marks. Where's that? In terms of going out clubbing, right? Look, your body does funny things when it goes into shock, and I said it in my video, and a few people scoffed at it, but it is the truth. So I shattered the metacarpals in my hand. I worked the doors, and they broke, and it was a big old mess. It was horrendous. But your body goes into shock, and I continued to work the doors that night, and I also drove home on a motorbike, so I could use my hand. It swells up, your body protects itself. It was the next day that I was in severe agony. You can, in theory, do, if it's a minor break, a fracture, nowhere near as bad as what I had, you could, in theory, do absolutely all of this stuff because your body would go into shock and you'd be fine. You could absolutely do all of this. But that's even to say that this is true because we don't have a timestamp. We don't know.
I was just going to say, and that's going under the theory that they're giving us, right? Yeah,
exactly, right. All of this stuff doesn't prove or disprove anything. It just adds to more questions. Why did he call 911? He found her naked in his apartment, hungover, right? That's it. Why did he call 911? And I said this in my video, and people were like, well, because she said she took sleeping tablets. So she woke up, she was fine. Why would you call? I don't understand.
Yeah. What is the paramedics going to do at that point?
Exactly. I don't understand why you would call 911. And the text messages that they did show from this ex-girlfriend now weren't good because they did talk about injuries.
Yeah.
And they're saying now, well, the message is that she didn't accuse Jonathan of injuring her.
Not the ones we saw.
But she spoke about injuries from a fight. Okay, big brain.
She says, they know we fought.
Were her specific terms. Yeah, exactly. So no, I guess in a roundabout nonsensical way, you could say she doesn't out and out accuse him of injuring her. Okay, yeah, you could probably play technical BS with that. But she did say she was injured and they had a fight. So what is... I can't.
I'm with you, Nate. I'm like... I'm right here going, okay, if you have all these... Here we are. This is why I said more of the same bullshit in the beginning. Because what was the first thing? The first thing the day after this happened... She came out and she's like, we've got video. We've got the video of the cab incident and it's going to exonerate him. These charges are going to be dropped. Next thing you know, he gets charges. We don't see the video. Here they are again. We've got this video that proves she was out having a good old fucking time. And then this happened and then this happened. And at no point was nothing have you shown us has proven anything that you've said or supported your case. You've given us screenshots with no timestamps. I mean, no sense of who's even in the fucking shot there.
If I may, you know how they really screwed themselves? They screwed themselves by releasing those initial batch of texts that were supposed to exonerate him. But what they really did was that they set up parts of a narrative that's based on basically the information presented by a hysteric woman in the text, possibly a lawyer after the fact. We do not know. And now the problem is that now they have this more stuff that they have to try to frame into those messages that has already been said. So here you now have like two things, because we don't have the full story. We do not have the timeline of what was to happen exactly where, which maybe both of these things are consistent with. The only thing that we have right here is first we have like the text that on their own are incomplete but seem to tell one story, and now we have these stills here that, if we are to believe them, tell a completely different story, and these two do not jive together without the timeline. And without that, he looks like a liar and his legal team looks incompetent.
And also, stop going to TMZ. But ladies and gents, people are probably wondering why we're looking at TMZ. That's because his fucking attorney keeps going to TMZ. Not Variety, not Deadline, not The Hollywood Reporter.
Well, not you said earlier,
fucking Collider.
They may have even tried to go to those sources, and TMZ does normally check their shit. I'm not going to say they don't, but they are more willing to take the more tabloidy shit. What, like Variety is going to say, no, we ain't going to touch that without any timestamps or any proof to say of what this is that we're showing here. Because we're just going off of what they're saying, right? Yeah. And if this is digital video and digital photos, where's the time information on this stuff?
Exactly. Well, we may not see the full screen grab. Maybe they just took like a print screen, cropped it or something like that.
But if you go by what they're reporting here, Andre, this is what his attorney turned in. They didn't even turn in a video. They just turned in screenshots.
Well, then it's completely useless.
That's what I'm saying. This is the world's dumbest fucking attorney. Excuse my language, but...
No, you're right.
What the hell?
And I still submit that the reason that this is with TMZ, and I know that many do their fact checking with with TMC and stuff like that, but still, TMC pays more.
Yes, they do.
Still my theory that the lawyer decides that this guy, he's done soon. There's not going to be much money to collect here, so I'm going to get myself some paycheck by dropping this to TMC, and then it's going to spread from there to everywhere else it needs to spread to anyway. I'll just be left with some more coin for myself.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, right, like, you have Variety, more than happy to post an exclusive with no official, just their behind-the-scenes sources, right, saying, hey, we've learned that multiple women are now coming forward as alleged victims of domestic abuse. And let's run on the theory. Let's just run on the theory that his attorney did actually reach out to the bigger trades. So Variety, more than happy to publish something which they've learned from sources about the DA and people corroborating it and going to and working with them, but not happy to publish this. There'd be a reason why. Because it's substandard. It's what everyone is looking at now and saying right now, going, where's the fucking timestamps? What does this reveal? It shows nothing. It doesn't show literally anything. Also, and they probably would have pushed back on that if, playing devil's advocate, if they did do that.
Yeah. There's another reason why that's in the trades. Probably that's a controlled leak straight from the DA's office. And they're non-profit. So they're going to be really careful with what they release. Again, there's no names here. There's nothing like really incriminating. But some Variety reporter called them and say, hey, look, we're with Variety. Without being too specific, what can you tell us? Like, I'm not supposed to say anything, okay, but here's the deal. That's something that can happen. No money will have changed hands at all. And this is also something like the DA's office. They want a political win here. I mean, here you're going to have like some ambitious DA that just wants to be able to take someone down, get like a personal victory out of it. They're going to do their due diligence and stuff like that. And they're going to be like, okay, I finally need to get this out there because that's going to help me in the trial later on. And so everything from there is all the more professional than what we get from team majors.
And I want to hear Culture's take on this too, because he has been pretty quiet here. But no, like there's that one bit going off of that, Andre, at the end of that TMZ story where they're basically setting up this conspiracy that she was coerced by the police to say this. Okay, so supposedly there's body cam, so let's see that.
Yeah. I'd love to see that. That's some pretty extreme allegations there.
Exactly. And not only that's what I'm saying. You're setting up some tinfoil hat type stuff here. And I'll tell you what, a DA is one thing. And yes, I'm not saying they don't like to swing and sway things for political matters, but they're not going to put themselves on the line for a Hollywood brat like this, though. That's the difference. They know where the line is drawn. If you're going to go to the mattresses for somebody like this, you're going to have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, because there is no way you're going to fudge this up in court and screw your crap up for the rest of your life if you're just a measly DA at this point.
They don't want to lose. Tom, you're 100% right. The DA is only going to take cases they think they can win because it's all about prosecution record, right? So they have to feel pretty confident in what they've gathered. And you're right. There's going to be a lot of evidence that's going to be introduced to the general public that we haven't had. And these attorneys probably have everything that's been entered in on either side. And elements of discovery are already in place, et cetera, et cetera. So I have a feeling going into this that on May 8th, which is the Monday after the opening of Guardians of the Galaxy, this is going to start going very badly. I'm with a lot of the people that have been watching us for a couple weeks now, talking about this. This strategy isn't working, and it's going to lead to him losing his gigs. I mean, not just the ones he's already lost, but his big gig. His big gig is going to go away.
His $20 million payday for Kang.
Yeah.
Well, and we've gotten that scoop from two sources that he is already gonzo. And honestly, I'm with Andre on this. The video should be coming soon. And he says right in the video, we think that he already is, and we believe it, because otherwise, regardless of him losing all that other stuff, if you still had a $20 million payday with Marvel, your agents and managers are going to still stick with you. Them jumping ship, it tells us that the scoop is probably accurate.
I'll say it again. I said it Tuesday. 10% of zero is still zero.
Yep.
Yeah, no, you guys are completely right on that.
Yeah.
Completely
So like 10% to 20 million payday, that's worth standing by your client for.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Like that has the potential to be one of the biggest, one of the biggest paydays outside of someone like Johnny Depp, who used to get like 26 million or something like
exactly.
that.
Then you don't care about like this little indie movie here, indie movie there, like fashion thing there. That's peanuts. Marvel is the big paycheck. If that's gone, then the dude's done.
Yeah. So we have a few super chats. We also got Nick dropped in here. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Nick.
Doing good. Just got checked into the room. Hopefully the fan's not as loud now.
Yeah, much better, buddy. It just sounded like your mouth was next to the microphone for a little bit.
Yeah.
It was just intermittent coming on and off. So much better. Much better.
So I just got checked in here in Louisiana. Gonna hang out with Valiant Renegade here later on, and made it in time to jump in the stream.
Perfect. We got one super chat here from Lucifer the Doberman for 22 Canadian dollars. I got Sideways Rain, so I'm spending the day baking bread, painting models, and listening to you guys. Sending love from Vancouver Island. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Really do appreciate that. And baking bread, that's a good pastime. I love baking bread, and I cannot wait to do some more of it.
It's 420. Is baking bread like a euphemism for something?
No, I don't know.
No, you know my
I'm
sourdough
picking
bread
on you. I'm picking on you.
All right.
Nobody's made a 420 joke all day long. It's just kind of irking me.
All right. Well, you got it in there. You've done it. Goodness me. All right. So we've got 2 topics to cover before it'll be me and Nick bitching and moaning about the Mandalorian. So if you're here for the Mandalorian, it'll just be me and Nick talking about that because we are the only ones that have seen it. But Nick is from Echo Base Network, as the name implies, specializing in all things Star Wars. So it'll be a good time sticking around for that.
Yep.
Guys,
Nick.
if you want to support
for real.
if you want to fuck's sake. If you want to support the show, super chat, super sticker is a great way to do it. Also, you could just become a member as well, become a channel member. All helps out. But let's take a look at the next topic, which is Harry Potter. It could be diverse. I mean, of course it is. It's just one of those things. Whenever I see this, I always go, yeah, of course it is. Now, this is a scoop from the Hot Mic podcast. Let me scroll down. So, Jeff Snyder revealed that Warner Brothers is prioritizing diversity with this adaptation and adds that there's a concerted effort to cast more people of color in the show. Behind the scenes, the expectation is that there will also be an increased number of writers who are also people of color. Finally, Jeff Snyder would also point out that there's a strong chance a black actress will play Hermione, and no great surprise when that's often been the case on stage for Harry Potter and the cursed shitty child thing. So I mean, there you have it. It's kind of one of those things that I hear this and I just think, well, of course, that was going to be the case. Of course,
it doesn't inherently mean it's going to be bad, though. But
no, of course not. But I think if there's a concerted effort, and this is the problem that I always have with this, right? When it comes out that it's rumored, they're looking to do this. That's what they tell you. What's actually going on behind the scenes is we are just looking for this. We are just looking for this. And that narrows down your pool. I have no issue with black actors, Asian actors, whatever. Like, I don't care. It is always unequivocally, it's like if it's a non-distinctive element to a character, their race, it's a case of cast who's best for the role. It absolutely is. Now, you could say that certain elements of Harry Potter have had their sort of canonized races. I don't know enough about Harry Potter to really touch on that, but I think just looking at it from a rudimentary perspective, if you are just looking to cast a black actress, you narrow your pool down, and thus you don't actually get the best actor for the job because you are overlooking purposely other races, and that's unfortunate. That's just shit, basically. That's nonsense. So I had it on over to you, Culture, first, because we got you down last time on the last topic. So what do you think on this?
To what end?
Are you saying to what end are they doing this, or to what end are your thoughts? I don't know, mate. You know your thoughts.
Restated because there was a lot being covered right there, and I just.
Well, what do you think? I mean, they're looking to purposely have a diverse cast. I always think whenever I hear diversity,
but to what end? Because this happens all the time. I mean, that's the whole point. My reaction is this is something they're trying to establish at the norm. And you're 100% right, Nate. The minute they start to suggest that we're looking in this direction, that's the only thing they're doing. And what they're trying to be careful of is the fact that they're eventually going to get sued. All of these companies that are looking for diversity in whatever they are, they're eventually going to get sued. And, Hollywood is no different. Maybe not in an actor role, because you can pretty much cast anybody you want to in any role that you ever put up there, because unless there's something that's clearly defined within the role, it's hard to have that argument. But if you're saying, well, we're going to hire a director of color, you've screwed yourself, because now you've indicated a preference based on race, and you should be sued, at least in this country. With the very moment that you start to go down this path, you're opening yourself up for lawsuits, and there need to be a lot more of those. And we're starting to see some. Those are starting to happen, but they need to happen in force, and they need to be the damages need to be heavy. They need to hurt these entities. And again, I mean, is it surprising to me? No. The fact that, J.K. Rowling isn't pushing back on this is telling. I mean, we all know she's, a little bit left of center. She's been, a little more than a little bit, but, so sure, she's going to favor these kinds of ideas. But when I look at these things, that's how I look through them now. The prism of you're a racist because you're indicating a racial preference for a given role. You're indicating these things. So right now, Warner Brothers, racist.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I will absolutely agree with that. Andre, good sir.
I think that if you're excited for the Harry Potter reboot, now is when you can stop being so. Because with this, they have already announced that their priority here is wokeness. They put the racial identity of both the writers and of the on-screen talent before anything else, especially in the writers' room, when they're like, oh, we are going to do diversity hires in the writers' rooms. Don't go expect too much of the episodes. That's basically what they're saying here. To me, that this tells me there's absolutely no reason whatsoever to be excited for this. This is already creatively compromised. It's creatively compromised because they have mandates in who can work on this in front of and behind the camera. It's done already. Abandon all hope.
Yeah. I'll agree with that. Absolutely. You start touting this kind of stuff. We're looking for this. We're doing this. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
They're not like, if they just imagine if they had gone out and said, we're huge fans of the movies, but the movies, they left out so much of the books. So now we're going to do it again. It's going to be its completely own thing, and we're going to be completely true to the works of Rowling here. So if you were a Harry Potter fan that weren't quite happy with the movies, they weren't quite what you saw, you're going to love what we have in store for you, because that is what we're making now. If they had said that, they would have a winner on their hands. They would have fans all with them. Instead, what are they saying? We're all about diversity and inclusion. That's their selling point. And everything that has that as its selling point ends up being rather crappy, because they didn't pay attention to the story or anything else. That was a distant last priority.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Tom?
Well, I got to start off by saying I'm not a Harry Potter fan in any way. Never read a whole book, watched only part of the first film and checked out. Not my thing. But I agree with what you guys are saying. I think they're doing themselves a disservice here. But I think it's more so that we're looking at it as, they're doing the typical thing Hollywood does. When I see it as more, this is their shield. Yeah. This is them standing up and saying, look, we're going to get a bunch of crap from the LGBTQ community. We need to have something up there that's saying we're doing this to distract from that. Now, hopefully, they're just doing what you guys were saying and keeping it open with who they're going to have behind the scenes and in front of the camera. Because honestly, and they should probably hire me over at Warner Brothers right now, because here's an ingenious idea of how to get a great cast and also get the people on board who are kind of leery about this whole thing being a reboot. Because The only reason we have this set idea of who these characters are in our heads is because they've been played by the same actors for 10 years. Right? Like, that's the thing. And only one set of actors have ever played them. And I don't think most people would have a problem with diversifying some of the characters in the cast. Like we've said, even Rowling has said that, well, I always seen Hermione or whatever is black or whatever, even though she never wrote it that way. It's just the point is like, okay, fine, you can have your cake and eat it too, if you do it this way. And that is, you do it completely open, not like specific. Like what you guys are saying is absolutely correct. They're going, if they're going after, like, we need a black character for this, we need a Hispanic character for that, that is the wrong way to do this. You need to keep this completely open. They should actually turn this into a reality show. And what it should be is like an open casting call for 10-year-olds throughout the world. If you want to be in Harry Potter, here's your chance. You send in your video, pick your 3 characters you want to play, and then people vote on all those videos, and then the show kicks off with the top whatever percentage of people per, like you get 5 for you got groups of 5 that that they select, that this is going to be your Harry Potters, this is going to be your Hermione's, and so on and so on and so forth. And you turn it into this thing, and you give them like different like acting techniques and tactics and games to do, and people vote on it themselves, and they vote in the new cast, right? Because then from there on forward, you've got everybody on board with this, and no matter who's cast in the roles, they're who everybody wanted. So it doesn't matter if it's a Hispanic character or not, or a black character or not, or what have you, right? It's because this is what the audience chose. And I think that's the best win scenario here, because otherwise, you guys are right. You're pigeonholing yourself and saying, well, we're only looking at young black actresses for this character, and that's it. Well, then there's a whole swath of actors that you're not even looking at, right? Or writers or directors or what have you. It's the same across the board. Now, the behind the scenes thing, that can hopefully work itself out. But I think the only way you're going to get people on board with this rebooting and recasting idea, especially with the diversity shit involved, is to get them involved. That's my call on it. But otherwise, I don't see this going well for anybody at the end of the day. And I think this is just a shield for them to, basically brace for impact when the LGBTQ community comes up against them, when this comes out or comes closer to coming out anyway.
That's I just have to say, because of J.K. Rowling. Sorry, I did not mean to interrupt culture, but how many people who identify, how many they-thems do you think this series is going to be populated with? How much of like the teaching?
We already know there's a couple of characters that are LGBTQ, so there will be representation.
No. Okay, I now mean the T's of the LGBTQIA plus minus divided by.
I don't know. There might be one just
are going to be T's, and teaching is going to be to like biology in Hogwarts class. They're going to be doing that. But they already signal about diversity and inclusion here. They have to try to find a way to stand against Rowling. They're going to do that. The main character is going to be them. If they're going to make if they're going to turn Hermione, what's the ginger dude? What's his name? I'm not into Harry Potter either.
The ginger guy, Ron.
There's 3 of them. It's Harry, it's Hermione, and that dude. What's
Ron?
What's his face? Ron. Yeah.
Ron Weasley.
How much you want to bet that he's going to be a they/them?
Yeah, quite possibly. Could do.
Maybe, but I don't know. I think they'll have some background character just to try to appease people. But yeah, I don't know if they'll go to that extent.
Yeah, it's dependent if they allow it. To be honest, it's dependent if they allow it. You went epic level robot there, Andre, good sir.
Oh, so it wasn't just me.
No, I honestly thought it was me as well. I was like, oh no, shit, my laptop. Oh no. And then I see people in the comments going, Andre's rebooting here. Andre's a robot. Andre's
is it better now? Is it better now?
It's better
okay.
now.
I'll say that one more time then. I think most people got it, but apparently Ron is the name of that dude, because Tom, I've never read the books. I don't care for the movies. It's not for me. But yeah, how much you want to bet that Ron is going to be a they/them in this adaptation? Hermione is a black chick, but you can't have 2 white men left. That ain't happening. Oh, and one of them is ginger. You should forget about it. That's definitely not
man, gosh, you can't even keep it within this right cultural stuff anymore. And I think both Andre and Tom are right. I think that, this is essentially just a set of armor that, people are putting on now because they don't want to listen to the noise from that really.
They did it with Rings of Power. Do you remember?
Yeah, it's they don't want to listen to the noise from the small, tiny fractional group because they think that they can hurt them the most, whereas the noise that comes from the people that are in the majority that just absolutely call out this trash, they're willing to tolerate for whatever reason. I mean, it's a really strange fear to have as a studio, as a corporation, or whatever. It's like, okay, do we we started with this as a tangent conversation at the beginning of the stream. AB InBev is, in favor of irritating, the giant target audience that they already have in favor of something they don't have, which is this infinitesimally small fraction of the population, which makes zero sense.
Culture, if I may just improve your analogy a little bit. You said that like they're trying to go for armor here, right?
Yeah.
But armor is it's like that's something you actually put on that protects you. I think a better analogy would be they're trying to inoculate themselves from criticism by doing a kind of medical procedure, which is meant to protect, make them stronger, but instead gives a very real risk of stroking out because that's kind of like what they're doing. The thing that's meant to protect them is going to end up destroying them.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, and not only that, it's like putting on a sackcloth and becoming a martyr. Maybe would be even better. But yeah, I mean, this is happening all too often where companies hoist themselves on their own petard. There's a level of hubris required to do this. I think you're right, Andre. I think you did it better than I do.
Yeah, well,
as usual.
I think we all compliment each other brilliantly. And just to take it back to the beginning, how much you want to bet that they serve Bud Light in the cafeteria in Hogwarts?
There you go. Well, they're targeting a younger audience, so
exactly. There you go. Perfect branding opportunity.
Sorry. Anyway, didn't mean to bring.
You can have Dylan come in as like one of the teachers.
Oh man!
Right, so we've got a $5 super chat from Mecca J, and says Harry Potter films did have people of color in these movies already. So what would be the point to do this now? Yeah, but this is the retroactive element of them doing history changes all the time, right? Like it's like Star Trek Discovery. We're the first at this. No, you're not. This is that's demonstrably not the case. They're always trying to do the first thing, and even if they're not going to be the first, they'll just tell you that they're doing the first thing anyway, because that's what they do. And this would just be the same thing. They'll be like, look, it's so diverse. We've never had diversity like this before. And you could literally go, yes, you did. And they'd go, no, we didn't. It's like it's
well, is that what they're really saying with this though, Nate? Are they really toting like, oh, this is the first this or not? I don't see that yet.
Well, we don't know yet, but I'm saying
the
question is well, why do this now? Why even why even do a focus on it? It's like, well,
I'll tell you why. Besides
if
the other
previous iteration wasn't good enough, that's the only motivation that you've got. And so this is the thing that they'll be thinking of. Well, the last one wasn't good enough. We need to do more. And this is the thing, they get the points from saying that. This is the first time. We're the first this. We're the first, same as Star Trek Discovery. It's trying to get those points, those social, social justice brownie points.
I still stand by that it's more so a shield, because otherwise, I mean, I will have to admit that, I mean, Hogwarts is so white. Let's be real. There's not much diversity in Hogwarts. You look at the movies. I mean,
they're pretty diverse at the movies.
I don't remember too many other.
Nigel is black. There are a couple other characters.
I don't know. I never watched them, so like the only main characters I know of are all white. So, that's just my observation.
But again, I mean, we just had this conversation around Cleopatra. Geographically.
Do I think they should change it just for diversity's sake, though? No, that's what I'm saying. I agree with that. I'm just saying, like, yeah, I can see why they would want to, mix it up a little bit, but yeah.
Right, well, ladies and gents, that about rounds us up for this portion of the stream. And now it will be me and Nick discussing the Mandalorian season 3 finale, which I know a lot of you probably would have came for because it's the main thing in the title and it is the thumbnail. So if you want to stick around for that, me and Nick, we're still here with the podcast continues, but obviously Culture, Andre and Tom have not seen the finale, so their input's a bit redundant here, unfortunately, because there is no input.
You guys didn't
no, but we'll get to that. So, basically stick around. Don't go anywhere, guys. But Culture, what do you have coming up? Do you have anything good?
Well, my channel does what I do. Weekdays I do the 6-minute daily in the morning here in the States, but it's in the afternoon. They're in the UK and around the globe. So do check that out. Doesn't matter when you watch it. It's always somewhat relevant to the day. So enjoy that. Released a few videos this week, one of which was Who's Your King Now? So that one was fun. And one, of course, on the Bud Light weirdness. But yeah, I've got a movie review from the earlier in the week. We've got stuff like that. And Nate's going to make me see Evil Dead Rise. So I'm going to see that.
Evil Dead Rise. Yeah, tomorrow. Got to watch that. We'll review it next week.
So, yeah, we'll be on top of it. But that's it. Thank you for having me as always. I love this show. I love Tuesdays and Thursdays. In fact, I love every day of the week. It's a lot of fun. I get to hang out with my pals. So, all right. Anyway, thanks.
Good. Andre, what have you got coming up, buddy?
We have a video on Kang as well coming out not too long. It should be out in the next few hours, I hope. We actually prepared the video yesterday, but then we had like these TMC breaking loose and everything. So now we have to go and update it. So it's coming as soon as the update is finished editing. And then, of course, tomorrow we have Midnight Sedge in the morning. And meanwhile, Tom has another stream for you all.
Yeah, Tom.
Yeah, I got Midnight Edge After Dark, but before that, I'm going to check in with WDW Pro, which is like in between the two here. So yeah, I'll be busy.
Yeah, I'll be with Tom on that show. And Tom, I forgot to mention, and Tom will also be on tonight's late show, which is over on Comics Division's channel. So will I. So there you go.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys for joining. Obviously, don't go anywhere. Viewers, we are still continuing the podcast, but these fine chaps have to disappear now. But please do hit subscribe to their channels. Links are in the description box. But thank you all for joining.
See ya.
We'll catch you in on Tuesday to talk about
guys.
Nice.
I'll be live from Vegas. Live from Vegas Tuesday.
Have a good
live
weekend,
from
Nate.
Vegas.
Nice.
All right. Peace out, guys. Right. Well, Nick, how you doing?
Oh man, I got up at let's see, I went to bed at like 1:30 a.m. last night. Got up at 6 o'clock this morning. Watched Picard. Did our review video. Got all my crap together. Got on the road and been driving for 5.5 hours. And
Jesus.
now I'm in Louisiana.
Lovely.
So yeah, it's been a busy day. I'm definitely gonna be tired tonight. But it's been a big week. We had the finale of Mando season 3 and the finale of Picard. The latter.
Don't talk about Picard. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. I'm not gonna spoil anything
because I still might binge it. So don't.
Yeah,
don't.
It's
don't
worth
spoil
binging.
anything. Yeah. So let's talk about the finale of The Mandalorian season 3 finale. The wrapping up of multiple story threads. What did you think?
It though? Was it really wrapping up?
Yeah, was it?
It seems like we're back to square one.
What did you think? I thought it was fucking terrible.
Yeah, it was not good. I will say, I will start off by saying a couple of things I liked about the episode. I thought this, as usual, the cinematography and a lot of the effects and stuff were good. I like some of the action scenes, but the artwork at the end of the show has been the best part of, I think, of almost every episode this season. And I don't know if you noticed the artwork at the end of this last episode, but that whole entire battle with the Mandalorian's capital ship they stole from Moff Gideon and the TIE interceptors and bombers and everything all happened in space. And it was all the ships fighting like it was a big, huge space battle. And instead what we got, like when I was looking at the artwork, I was like, man, this looks freaking awesome. Why didn't we get this? Instead, we got them sacrificing their biggest ship as a decoy. I'm like, who does that? Why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense. There's so many head scratches in this. Grogu popping up out of nowhere, left and right. Freaking Mando being the biggest Disney princess this season. He's constantly needing to be saved. It's just like when the show first started, I was like, man, he's a badass, man. I'm liking this. Like,
well,
let's
the opening episode, he chopped someone with the door.
Yeah. And he had all these cool different weapons and everything. We got none of that from him this season. It was like it was Mando light. So that was very disappointing. Of course, we had the hero of the show, Bo-Katan, coming in saving the day, left and right, and the one big MacGuffin of the whole series, the dark saber, just gets crushed. Gone. Like it doesn't even matter anymore. It's gone. Like, why'd we spend all this time with this thing and it being such an important part of their culture and everything, just to have it just be crushed by his bare hands while she's holding it? And I guess her fingers and her bones in her hand and everything are fine. Because if you look, she's holding it and he crushes it while it's in her hand. I mean, her hand would have been crushed. So that made no sense.
Mythosaur went nowhere.
Yeah, the other thing, the Mythosaur, I was like, the thing is, I think the speculation between episodes has been the funnest thing for me this whole season, because it sure shit hasn't been watching the actual episodes, which it should be. So yeah, like the speculation of what's going to happen with the Mythosaur. Is she going to tame it? Is there was rumors Boba Fett was coming back. He was going to be riding it. All this stuff, and it was nothing. We literally saw its eye open for the second time. I'm like, that's it. No end credit scene leading us into the next show to continue the story.
It was really odd, actually. The way they ended it was really odd. It was just like, they do a bit of work now and there, and it's Din Grogu or whatever. Like,
yeah, and what's up with that in the naming convention? Like, shouldn't it be Grogu Jaren?
Well, yeah, because of Paz Vizsla and stuff like that. Yeah.
So that was dumb. I didn't like that. And the stupidest part, the cherry on the stupid sundae is the freaking Porky Pig. Hey, that's all, folks. Circle ending.
Yeah.
I was like, what? That's literally what it feels like this season is a freaking Looney Tunes cartoon, because it's been a complete joke. I like seasons 1 and 2, even though I did have some issues with seasons 1 and 2. For the most part, I enjoyed season 1 and 2. I was really looking forward to this season. And once again, Disney Star Wars is disappointed. And it's just getting old for me, especially running a Star Wars channel of, well, let's wait till the next show. The next one could be good. We've literally said that since the end of Mando season 2. We've gotten Book of Boba Fett, garbage. Bad Batch, garbage. Freaking Obi-Wan Kenobi, garbage. Andor, a lot of people liked, and I didn't hate it, but it just wasn't Star Wars to me. I wasn't a fan of Andor, even though I probably was. I hated it the least out of all of them.
Like Mandalorian, Star Wars, fucking hell, I'd rather watch Andor.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I would much rather watch Andor than season 3 of this. For sure. And then Bad Batch season 2, which I was completely checked out from, actually had some really good episodes in it. Like, one of the best animated episodes of ever that I've watched was the 12th episode of season 2 of Bad Batch. If anybody in chat hasn't seen it, just go watch that one episode. Episode 12, Bad Batch season 2. Like, the writing on it, man, this was like top notch. The story, the character development, everything. Like, I loved it. I was like, man, why can't more Star Wars shows be written this well? And I don't even really like the cartoons all that much, but good God, it was a good episode. So yeah, it's been really disappointing. And I don't know. On to Ahsoka, I guess.
I don't care. Like, I don't care about Ahsoka at all. The thing that didn't make any sense to me is that like they set up so much stuff that could have went in so many different directions, and they went with the most laziest, cheapest dog shit payoff you could possibly imagine. The clones, Moff Gideon's just cloning himself. That's not compelling. It's not interesting. I don't give a fuck.
And they didn't do anything. He pushed some buttons and they all
two seasons building up to these clones, and one opens their eyes and then they all die because they push a button and they're dead. Who cares? It's so ridiculous. Grogu has not developed in any way, shape, or form. He's not progressed at all. He is doing nothing different with the Force than we've not already seen him do already. I understand, right, that a good way of doing it, here's how I would fix it, right, in terms of Grogu. We have all these flashbacks, right, and it's good to learn a little bit more about him. Give me the flashbacks. Yeah, I want to see the flashbacks. I want to know more about his backstory. But then have each fucking flashback unlock more of his Force potential, because he's learning about himself. He's remembering. So he would also remember the connection with the Force and remember what he was taught at the academy, right?
That's a great idea.
None of that. Fucking none of that. No. We've seen him do the same stuff time and time again. That's absolutely weak sauce, redundant nonsense. The whole thing about the Darksaber, oh, good God, that annoyed me so much. And they even say, oh, the Darksaber's gone now. Like,
yeah, like it was no big deal.
You even wrote it in there. You even wrote it in there. You even actually included dialogue to the effect. You absolute numbnuts. What was up with? They set it up, right? They absolutely set it up. I thought the only people that could forge Beskar were Mandalorians. I didn't think anyone else could work with it. So who the fuck has been making Moff Gideon's armor? It looks like the armorer's Night Watch helmet, right? It looks the same thing. It's got the... Why didn't you do anything with that? Who's been making the armor for him? Who's been making the bloody armor? No one, apparently.
The last episode said spies.
Yeah, no spy.
And there was, and everyone's like, all right, well, we already know the one spy, the She-Hulk, whatever her name is, Lieutenant Biscuits. And then everybody's like, well, it's spies. We know of one. Who's the other? And then it's like, all right, it looks like the armor. Look at the helmet. You know, people are starting to put the puzzle pieces together. No other spy. Everybody can forge Beskar. You don't need a forge. We just do it here in house, here at the Imperial base on Mandalore. Like what? What is happening here?
Oh my God! Oh, it's so and. What the hell was up with? What the hell, Moff Gideon? He's in an Iron Man powered Mandalorian suit. Did you hear the voice and it moved and it's all like, I've got like droid powers in this. Oh, you fucking dunce.
Yeah, they never explained that. So like, much. I just heard the noise and I was like, and then saw him crush it and I'm like, is he like Super Saiyan under there? Is this like a robot suit he's in?
It's an Iron Man suit. He's wearing Iron Man armor.
But they never go into any detail on it and explain that, so you know that he's more powerful. Like when he showed up and he put the helmet on, I thought it was just going to be just regular old Moff Gideon in his suit against, Mando. I didn't know he had all this bionic superpowers now. I had to learn that from watching and listening to the effects and watching the scene unfold. It's just you talk about middle school amateurish bad fan fiction of Star Wars. This season is the very definition of that. Jon Favreau should be ashamed to even have his name attached to this season. I would go stick my head in the sand for like 2 years and come back and try to forget all about this season. I don't know what's going on over there at Lucasfilm. It just seems like they can't get their shit together, and it's super frustrating. And the thing is, like when we were reviewing this, I was like, man, there's probably going to be a lot of people that are going to be hating on us, calling us black pills. Like, oh, you guys just hating on it just to hate. No, surprisingly, most people actually agreed this was shit.
Yeah, so I had the same thing. Last episode I didn't like that much, and people were like, this is the best one yet. And I'm like, yeah, but it's still shit. Like the best of a bad bunch doesn't mean it's good. And then I reviewed the finale, and I'm like, look, I understand a lot of people are going to be like, I love the pew 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 pew. I'm like, but I need a little bit more from the pew pew pew, because otherwise it just becomes poo poo poo. I'm like, this is nothing. Like, they went nowhere with anything. It was just, there was not even any substance to it. And you say about the cinematography, right? And I'll pull you up on some of it. Some of it was good. Some of it was atrocious. What was up with the in-air fight? In-air dogfight. You're literally dealing with CGI cameras, CGI characters, camera framing. You can have these people do anything you want. They're not in a suit. They're not stunt doubles. They're not on strings. You can have them do anything you want. And it's so close up, I can't see what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, it was.
I couldn't see anything.
Yeah, it was a very close-up shot. It was almost like watching Transformers all over again.
I understand doing that when there's actually people there, because you zoom in to hide stuff, hide the inadequacies of the actors. What were you doing when they're all CG? There's no inadequacies to hide. You can make them do anything you want.
Yeah.
You make them do a backflip and then kick someone's face off if you want. I mean, for goodness sake, what are you doing?
Yeah. And it went quick too. Like, it was fast on screen, just boom, 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 close up shots. And
speaking of the armorer, it didn't make any sense to me. So in the last episode, she was jet setting off to the big ship.
Yeah.
And then the next time we see her, she's in the ship going, "You've got your reinforcements, bo-katan, Miss Kreese." I'm like,
yeah. What? I don't know. I don't know.
You missed something.
Yeah, I don't know how she ended up there. And the thing is, when they were like, "All right, evacuate," because the Moff Gideon's ships are coming to attack. Leave this one up here, one of our best ships, to just get blown up. Leave that here. They're all descending down into the clouds, to go help Bo-Katan.
They'd be like flies on a windscreen.
Yeah, literally 3 seconds later, all the TIE fighters come up out of the clouds. I'm like, did they not run into each other or like detect each other? It was just.
I mean, they have like radar. We see it on the screens. We can see that they can. We've seen it before.
Yeah, they've shown us. Yeah, they've shown us this season. When Mando was picking up TIE fighters and all that, and it's like they just pass each other. I'm talking about like 3 seconds later. I'm like, what? They would have all crashed into each other. There should have been explosions or something. Like, so much of it just didn't make blood. Yeah. We should have seen like bits of the ships falling out of the clouds, and Bo's like looking up going, well, I guess our reinforcements are gone. But then they all, drop out. And this goes back to the artwork. In the artwork, they showed artwork of that scene, and the armor had a badass gun in there with all the other Mandalorians. In the actual show, she's coming down with her hammer and her tongs, her salad tongs, to freaking beat people up who also have Beskar. And I'm like, what?
Apparently Beskar is dog shit now, because they were killing one another easily. So it's like, well, is Beskar that important these days?
Yeah.
Apparently anyone can forge it. You can get shot at it now. It doesn't matter anyway. Who cares? Beskar's garbage.
Did you notice the Kenobi moment in the show where when Din escapes the two Beskar troopers, and he's like smacking them in the head, and they're like falling over like they just took a punch to the face? I'm like, he's got a Beskar helmet on. What, he wouldn't even probably feel that.
Yeah.
Really? Like, and then they're shooting him with the flame, and his cape is not on fire. It's like fire retardant. I was like, is anybody catching this stuff when they're actually filming these episodes? Is anybody on set catching this, saying, this doesn't quite add up? Don't worry about it. It's a kid's show. Well,
that's it. It is a kids show now.
Yeah.
They firmly put season 3 as a kids show. This was just merchandise. It was how many toys can we sell?
Yeah, Grogu in the IG suit.
What was up with R5 as a cheap knockoff of R2D2? And what was up with those Mouser droids?
Oh, they're just banging into him.
What are you doing?
Oh, it was so stupid.
Damn.
And then the thing I hated, and I hated this in the prequels too, R2 with the booster rockets on it. R5 has it too. I'm like, what? That's not. They don't have booster rockets. We would have actually seen that in the.
They fly now. They fly.
Yeah, they fly now. So he comes down and lands, and then he rolls himself to the edge to look down and be like, "Whoa, I'm so high up!" And then
you're not going to be scared. You've got jetpack rockets. What are you doing?
I was like, "What? Why would he go over there and do that? Like he just flew
he knows,
down.
He just traveled down."
Like, there was so many just dumb moments. Oh, and then the Praetorian guards. I just remember.
They came out of nowhere again.
Yeah, they come out of nowhere, and then their weapons. They're sitting there fighting, and Mando grabs one of them, like by the hand, and it doesn't cut through his hand or anything. I'm like, these things cut through Beskar, but he can grab one of their weapons by the lit up electrical lightsaber end or whatever it is, and it does nothing to him. I'm like, this show is a complete joke. A complete joke.
But it makes a joke of itself because of its own inconsistencies. That's the issue, right? Is like it's not that the thing is those things are fine in isolation, but they're not fine because they're contradicting other things that we've already seen literally in the last episode, for instance.
Yeah.
So you're making when the filmmakers don't even take their own show seriously enough to remember what they've previously shot or written. Why the fuck should anyone else take it seriously? Why should anyone else care? They don't care. Why should we care?
Yeah, exactly. And that brings up, and I just saw in the chat, Darth Scipio says, "Hey Nick, can the Darksaber be rebuilt if the crystals are not destroyed?" It could, but who cares? Because they don't even care.
Yeah, she was like, "Oh well, whatever. It's gone, whatever."
It's like the Darksaber's gone. It's like, oh well, like nobody cared. And I'm like, I thought this was supposed to be the big thing, and it's like, no, it's gone. Oh well. And so I'm like, if they were planning on, or if they are planning on rebuilding it, they should have had like a freaking several scenes where they're like, the Darksaber's gone, and had it be this big huge thing of, we got to try to
like you've got an armorer there, someone who deals with the Forges of Mandalore. Be like, oh my god, armorer, can you rebuild it? Oh, it would be difficult, but bo-katan, yes, we can. You need to go find this. Oh, there you go, Mandalorian season 4.
And then you have another story or something. But no. Literally, they just nobody cared that it was gone. None of the Mandalorians gave a shit.
And then at the end as well. Half of them got their helmets off, half of them got them on. Is that what they're going to do now in Mandalore? Or Mandalore? Half of them will be walking around with their helmets on, and half of them won't. What the fuck is that all about?
I guess because the creed doesn't matter anymore. So Din Djarin basically could have just been one of them the whole time, and just took his helmet off, because the armor's like, you're still. You're not. You're a Mandalorian no more. Well, now that I think about it, it's oh my god, this season. Oh, I just can't even with the season.
Terrible. It was terrible.
There's so much bad stuff in it. Like I can't even remember all. Like I'm literally just thinking as we've been sitting here talking, just been remembering stuff in the episode that happened. The pipes that fell on Grogu. Which was just really one pipe. He can push fire and all that back, but he can't move two little pipes. Like I'm like, just push the pipes off you with the Force. Hurry up, And
this is what I mean. Like he's not progressed in any way, shape, or form.
No,
it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. What was the whole thing was pointless.
Yeah,
it was a pointless season. That's as best as I can put it. It was utterly pointless, absolutely redundant.
Yeah,
complete waste of time. Oh, ridiculous! Fucking hell.
Literally, if nobody watched any of these Disney Plus Mandalorian shows, I'd be like, watch season 1 and 2, Watch the 2 Mando episodes and Book of Boba Fett, and then wait for season 4.
Yeah, well, no, wait for us to watch season 4 and then tell you if it's
yeah, and then we'll tell you if you can watch season 4 or not, because it could be dog shit too.
God damn. So we got some super chats here. Aurora Uplinks says, "Trust me, I believe Mandalorian season 4 is going to be amazing, and I believe you're going to see a new Star Wars set of shows and a Mandalorian film." Well, we're not. We're going to see a roundup of the Mandalorian shows. Actually, that's already been confirmed from Dave Filoni.
Yeah,
and who cares about season 4? They've not even said that they're doing one.
Yeah, Favreau said he wrote season 4, and they're supposed to start filming this fall, I think. But none of that's been confirmed for sure that it's actually happening. I mean, Disney could see the numbers for season 3 and be like, I think we're going to go in a different direction.
Well, you know that's interesting, isn't it? Because it might be that they've changed directions already because of how they ended season 3. Because that was very much an end.
Yeah.
It was an end, and they could just go, well, we're making this movie now anyway. So anything that you wrote for season 4, the stuff that we like, we'll just include in the movie. So we'll do that instead.
I could totally see them doing that. But if they're gonna give us any more seasons like season 3 here, man,
I'll be done.
Keep it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'll have to watch it and review it.
Likewise.
But I don't want to. Please don't make me punish myself and force me to watch this crap.
Yeah. Donald Smead says, "Good idea about Grogu and the Force." Yeah, I mean, at this point, the fans had. I'm not even a fan, but yeah, I'd say I'm a fan of Mandalorian. I've liked them all, but except for this one. Yeah, I'd say the fans have absolutely had better ideas than the writers. Aurora Uplinks continues her post and say, or his post, I don't know, or Aurora sounds like a girl. Sorry, assuming your gender. Favreau and Lucas have had uphill battles, but they have allies and proof of value now. And I think the entire Mandalorian season 3 was due to interference. But it's not proof of value now because Mandalorian season 3 is garbage.
Yeah.
I don't understand what you're getting at with that. That doesn't.
So the rumor has it that Kathleen Kennedy got in there and mucked up the whole show and all that sort of stuff. I don't know how much of those the rumors. I believe. I mean, maybe, but I mean, nobody knows for sure, and it's never going to come out. So
yeah. Aurora says, "I think KK butchered their budget for Acolyte stuff." Maybe they're getting sued for that now anyway. So the fuck.
Yeah.
It's just the whole thing's a joke. The whole season was a joke. The whole thing's a joke.
Oh, that Acolyte show. I'm going to have fun with that show. I can't wait for that show to come out. I'm going to have so much fun making videos on that dumpster fire. It is going to be glorious content.
Jesus. Okay, this show is crap. The show is absolute crap. Do you have anything else to add to that? Because I don't have too much else really to say. It's just me ranting about it. To be fair,
I mean, it's a disappointing season. And yes, Nikki, I am using airplane pilot headphones from the 90s because I'm in a hotel room. But very disappointing. Favreau's my confidence in him as a writer has greatly come down. Big time. Yeah. I mean, Book of Boba Fett, I was like, he was kind of hands off of that. I'll give it a pass. But now after Mando season 3, no, bro. I can't give you no more pass after this.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Terrible stuff. Terrible stuff. We've got a super chat here from Dominic V with $5. Says, "New Star Wars is not meant for established fans. They want normies that will consume everything in front of them because it's new to them." It does feel that way.
It feels that way, but even the normies, even a lot of the normie people, like friends of mine and stuff, that aren't into YouTube and aren't huge Star Wars fans. They got wives or their kids or stuff like Grogu, Baby Yoda, and all that. They're calling me like, "What the hell am I watching? Like what is this?" I'm like, "Dude, you're asking the wrong person. I have no idea. It's garbage," and they're not even liking it. Of course, there's people out there. I mean, we got people in our comment section of our videos, and I see other content creators out there, and people saying that it was a 10 out of 10. I don't understand that logic or where they're coming from. I mean, the only thing I can think of is those people that think that just kind of turn their brains off and just consume it and just accept whatever's thrown in their face. I'm a more critical thinker. And so when weird stuff's happening on screen that doesn't make sense, I usually pick up on it immediately.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I get that. Like, I think there's a lot of people that see the action and go, "Oh, well, the action was good, so it must be good." No, it was garbage.
Yeah,
it was absolute trash. It was a trash heap.
And I liked some of the action scenes in the show, but it doesn't make it a good episode at all. It was a terrible episode.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't help it. We've got a new member as well. Press Tilde has become a member. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Do appreciate that. We've got another super chat here. Says, I think I might be hired by Favreau soon.
Aurora Uplinks, if you get hired by Favreau, you be sure to let us know, and we will tell you what to tell him.
Brilliant.
Pass this along to him.
Yeah. Well, I think that about wraps it up here. Yeah, I think that about wraps it up. Guys who are members or patrons, there is a members only and patron only stream after this one. You'll find links to that on my Patreon page, as well as the YouTube community tab, just for members and patrons alone. So if you want to become a member or patron and have access to, one-to-one streams, basically, head on over there, become a member, and you'll find it there. The links will go live when this ends. So it's not there right now, but head on over afterwards. But Nick, what do you got coming up? Do you have anything to plug?
So we are having a chill stream on our channel tonight, talking Picard and Mando. And we're gonna have John Trent from Bounding into Comics there. X-Wing will be there. Coach will be there. WDW Pro might show up towards the end, and then me and Valiant might show up. But like I said, I'm in Louisiana, and we're gonna go grab some drinks and hang out and chit chat for a little bit tonight. So I don't know when we'll be there or if we're actually going to make it, but we are having a chill stream on the channel discussing that and Picard, which was great.
Excellent. Well, ladies and gents, please do head on over to the description box. You'll find links to everyone's channel that has been on the podcast, especially Nick from Echo Base Network. So please do check them out. Please do check out the second channel, Mistakes Reviews Live Archives. Subscribe to it. We're trying to get it to 15,000 subscribers. It's basically where all the clips and the best bits go from these podcasts. It's a whole channel dedicated to it, basically. It's a good channel. You guys seem to like it, so head on over there. Again, if you want to support, we've got memberships, we've got Patreon, and you'll have access to exclusive stuff like a members and patron only stream in a minute. So that about wraps it up from me and Nick.
Yep.
Peace out.
Bye, guys.
Take care, and we'll catch you in on Tuesday for another stream or podcast, whatever you want to call it. Take care.